right, everybody. Welcome to the Fantasy Think. I'm Jared. It is time once again for my monthly update for December 2025. And wow, this year is almost over. And, before the advent of winter here, I always get a few visitors like that. So very cool to see those guys out there. But we're here for books and we're here to see what I read in the month of November. This is what I finished. I finished this lovely piece here called "Carpentry in the Elven Forest" by Alex French. Um, Very comedic, fun fantasy romp. So check out my review on that my channel. I had a really good time reading that, and this was my self pub read of the month, and it's one of the better ones. It's really a lot of fun. So check it out if you get a chance. It's on Amazon. So like a lot of things. Alrighty. So I also finished this wonderful, wonderful book called No Life Forsaken by Steven Erickson. This was so good. Um, yeah, definitely book of the month, most likely book of the year for me. We'll see. uh, but yeah, I flew through this book. This is probably the fastest I've ever read an Erickson book because not because of the length per se, but because it's only 450 pages. So, but because I just was so sucked in. I was so happy to be back in this world. It felt like coming home. All right, so I read that. Um, I also read this graphic novel called Batman Damned by Brian Azzarello and Lieber Mejo, and wonderful artwork and pretty cool story. It brings Batman into the occult, yeah, magic and stuff, So pretty good. I did a review on that as well, and I also finished this wonderful book called Oathbreakers by Matthew Gabriel and David M. Perry, and it's the war of brothers that shattered an empire and made medieval Europe. If you are a fantasy fan, but like your occasional nonfiction. This history of the brothers, the sons of Louis the Pious, who was the son of Charlemagne or Charles the Great, as they called him, during the early Middle Ages. This was some good stuff. Really, like really intense battles and histories and stuff like that. It's just I enjoyed it a lot, and so check out my review on that as well. All right. I also finished Exiles by Mason Coyle. And this is a little sci fi book, um, just past a novella, really. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I enjoyed my time with this. It was a quick read. It was, people on Mars, or people going to Mars for the first time. And so they are kind of exiles. But check out my review on this as well. So I finished that as well. All right, I think that's all the stuff I finished. And what am I currently working on? A few things. I'm working on A Song for Our Bond by Guy Gavriel. I am about almost 70% of the way through this book, and I am having a great time with it. It is really, really nice. It's so well written. We're so well put together, and I just really, really having a good time with this one. So um, that's what I'm currently reading right now. I am also currently reading for Speculative Speculation podcast, Revelation Space by Alistair Reynolds, and that's a really this is pretty intense sci-fi space opera, and we're having a good time talking about this one. It started off a little clunky, but then it really takes off and goes full speed ahead. So good stuff. And then I'm also reading Timescape by Gregory Benford as part of our sci-fi masterwork read along. I'm over 300 pages done now. We'll be talking about this next Saturday, and yeah, I'm enjoying this. This is a pretty good book. It's kind of weird. I wouldn't expect to enjoy it because it's a bunch of scientists sitting around a lab talking about time possibilities. But the characters are pretty engaging, and and the writing's pretty accessible. He gets into some scientific mumbo jumbo, but he does it in a way that doesn't turn me off or anything like that. So it's pretty well done. All right, so that's what I'm reading right now. On to short stories that I finished. For my short fiction side hustle project, we read Gildenfire out of this collection, The Daughter of Regals and Other Tales by Stephen R. Donaldson. And Gildenfire is the outtake from his novel The Ill Earth War, which is the second book in the Chronicles of Thomas Covenant, the Unbeliever. And this outtake was pretty cool because we got to see a little different view of events that we only barely heard about in the novel. So it was pretty cool. I really liked that. As always, Donaldson's writing is fantastic. So I also read, let's see here. I read from Asimov Science Fiction Magazine, the March-April 2024 episode. This is the one they gave away for free at the ICFA conference 2 years ago. And so I finally got around to picking this up, and I read the first story out of here, which was more like a short novella. And it was called How Sarah Kept Herself Together by Alexander Jablokov. And it was a pretty neat story. It had a bunch of aliens in it, and it was more like an alien detective, uh, trying to find out who murdered who and who was involved. And so it was kind of a detective sci-fi alien thing. So it was all right. It's pretty cool stuff. So I'll be reading one of these every month as we go along here. And I also read another short story out of Shapers of Worlds, Volume 5. This was called Bleach by M.C.A. Hogarth. And this was um, an interesting story. It's about this guy who kills angels. He's an assassin, getting getting paid for killing angels, and then it goes into very strange places after that. So yeah, it was pretty disturbing, actually, but in a good way, in a way that made you interested in the story. And so I kind of enjoyed it because there was a different definition of what makes an angel and stuff like that in this story. So pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Check out this collection if you haven't yet. It's really a fantastic collection of stories. Um, so also I have read a few more stories out of the Big Book of Science Fiction for our Speculative Speculation podcast, including Sporting with the Chid by Barrington Bailey, Sand Kings by George R. Martin, which was fantastic. Great little novella, Sand Kings by him. Also read Wives by Lisa Tuttle, which was kind of strange. And then I read The Snake Who Read Chomsky by Josephine Saxton, which was also pretty strange. um, and yeah, pretty strange stories sometimes in those things, but they were all pretty good. They had the ups and downs. Anyways, I read all those, and what else? I think that covers all the short stories I read. And I love, if you know me, I love my short stories. I love the format. How they're I love how they put together, and yeah, cool stuff. All right, my comic book of the month is Assorted Crisis Events number 6. This is the comic of the year, not this particular issue, but this series is the comic book series of the year. It's so fantastic. It's so deep. This particular issue here, each of these issues, these assorted crisis events, deals with this crisis event that just messes up time, and and you think that that's like some big picture type of stuff, but what these particular singular issues do is they go into the minutia of people's lives and how this event affects them. And in this case, it's a husband who is affected with this kind of time virus, so to speak. And he goes like for 1 minute he's an old man, next minute he's a baby, and everything in between. And his wife has to deal with this, and it is not easy. And it's a really emotional issue. Um, and I would go out and get any of those issues if you're a comic book fan, because they are truly spectacular. It's a truly spectacular series. All right. And what else do I have? I think that pretty much wraps it up. All right. So next month I'm going to continue on those three books that I'm in the middle of. And what else am I going to read next this upcoming month? We'll see. um, I have a whole shelf full of stuff over there. I'm just gonna pick whatever fancies, my whim or whatever. Um, and that'll be that. So, with all that said, thanks for watching. Be good to each other.
Never one for conversation. Give me silence or a song. Composing all emotion, 'cause assumptions can be wrong. So forgive my